All right, let's unlock a whole new level of app design.
Yeah.
Today, we're going to take a deep dive into Flutter drawers.
Ooh, exciting.
You know, those slide-out menus you see everywhere, from like social media apps
Yeah.
to your favorite email client.
I know exactly what you mean.
We're going way beyond just using them, though.
Right.
By the end of this, you'll understand how they actually work, and you'll even have the know-how to build your own.
Absolutely.
I'm already pretty intrigued.
Okay.
So before we get into the nitty-gritty,
The nuts and bolts.
yeah, the nuts and bolts, can you give us some insight into why drawers are so common?
Sure, yeah.
What makes them such a popular design choice?
I think a big thing is just efficiency, you know?
Okay.
Mobile screens, they have limited space.
Right.
And drawers let us tuck away all these navigation options without cluttering up the main screen.
Yeah, it's like hidden, but...
It's all organized, it's accessible.
Yeah.
It's just there when you need it.
And since most people are familiar with that sort of design,
Right, exactly.
it makes for a really smooth user experience.
For sure.
You don't need to learn a whole new way of navigating. You just...
Instinctively.
Yeah, to tap that little hamburger icon.
The 3 lines, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, to really get a grasp on how drawers work in Flutter,
Yeah.
let's think of an analogy of a physical drawer.
Okay, like in a desk.
Yeah, like the one in your desk.
Right, got it.
A nicely organized drawer full of potential.
Exactly. And in Flutter,
Yeah.
we have what's called a scaffold widget.
Okay.
And this is like the foundation of your app's layout.
Gotcha.
So it's like the desk itself.
Okay.
And just like you have a drawer within your desk, you can nest a drawer widget right inside this scaffold.
So the drawer is contained within the scaffold.
Yes.
Mirroring that real-world drawer analogy.
You got it.
Yeah.
Now, inside our drawer,
Yeah.
we often use a list view widget,
Okay.
which lets us arrange all our navigation options vertically.
It's like a list.
Like a list, exactly.
Excellent.
And each item on that list
Yes.
is typically a list tile.
So that's what gives us those nice rows
Yeah.
with the icon in the title and then some action when you tap it.
That's the one.
Okay. And if we want to make it a little fancier, like a nice header at the top,
Exactly.
maybe to show a profile picture or branding,
Yeah.
then we can use that drawer header widget.
Exactly.
Okay. It's all starting to come together now.
Good.
We've got the drawer itself,
Yeah.
a list of nicely organized items, and a header to give it some personality.
And to make it unique.
But I gotta say,
Yeah.
what I'm really excited about is the customization options.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I imagine Flutter gives us a lot of control over how those drawers look and feel.
A ton of control.
Give us some of the juicy details.
Yeah.
What are some ways we can really spice things up visually?
For example, there's a property inside each list tile.
Mm-hmm.
It's called the leading property.
Okay. And with that, you can add an icon before each menu item.
Okay, to make it look a little nicer
Exactly.
and also help users find what they need.
Easier to scan, yeah.
And can we take it a step further, you think?
Of course.
Use images, like for a user's profile picture.
Absolutely, you can do that.
What would we use for that?
You can use Circle Avatar for that.
Circle avatar?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And you can even...
You pull it from the web, potentially?
From the web, exactly.
Dang. Wow.
Imagine pulling in their profile picture from their social media, you know?
Yeah, it's a really personalized experience.
That's the kind of thing you can do.
Now that you mentioned user profiles, it reminds me that drawers are more than just good looks, right?
Right.
It's all about getting us to different parts of our app.
Exactly.
They're like the gateway to the app's content.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where Flutter's routing system comes in, I guess.
Yeah, so each list tile
Right.
can trigger navigation to a specific route, to a specific screen.
Oh.
So it's kind of like choosing a path from a map.
So when you tap a list tile,
Yeah.
you're basically saying, take me to this screen.
Yeah, take me here.
I'm curious, what does that look like in code?
So within the on-tap function
Okay.
of your list tile,
Yeah.
you would use something like
Okay.
navigator.pushNamed context, your root name,
Okay.
basically saying, hey,
Yeah.
when this list tile is tapped, navigate to the screen with this route name.
I see.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple, actually.
Yeah, it's not as bad as it sounds.
But can we get a little fancier?
Yeah.
What if we want multiple sections, submenus, or even drawers that, like, change dynamically
Okay.
based on who the user is?
Now you're talking.
Now we're getting interesting.
Remember how we talked about those physical drawers with the compartments? We do that in Flutter as well.
Like different sections for settings or
Reset.
account information or help, that kind of thing.
Yes, we can use dividers. to create those separations
Mhm.
and even add headers to label each section.
Gotcha.
And if you want to hide some options under a category,
Okay.
you can use expansion tile.
Extension time.
Think of it like a drawer within a drawer.
Oh, cool.
So you tap it,
Yeah.
and then it reveals more options.
So like a settings expansion tile.
Yes.
And then when you tap it,
Yeah.
it expands to show notifications,
Yeah,
privacy,
exactly.
help, that kind of thing.
Yeah, really helpful for organization,
Yeah, especially if you have a lot of options.
especially for complex apps.
Mm-hmm. Now, what if we want to make things even more organized?
Yeah.
What if we could tailor the entire drawer experience
Yeah.
to each individual user?
You're talking about dynamic drawers?
Dynamic drawer.
Yeah.
This sounds cool.
So we use something called state management,
Okay.
and a package like Provider can help us with that.
Okay.
So Provider can track things like if a user is logged in or not,
Okay.
or what their role is in the app.
I'm starting to see the possibilities here.
Yeah.
So if a user isn't logged in,
Mhm.
maybe we only show them the option to log in or sign up.
Exactly.
But once they're logged in,
Yeah.
then we reveal a whole bunch of new options for them.
Right, personalized.
Yeah, maybe even some premium features.
Exactly. Or like you said, if they have a specific role,
Yeah.
like an admin, then
Okay,
they could
cool.
see special admin features.
But if they're just a regular user,
Yeah.
they don't need to see those.
They don't get access to that, no.
As cool as I think these dynamic menus are,
Yeah.
let's be real, aesthetics matter too.
Of course, yeah.
What about adding some nice smooth animations
Yeah.
to really polish the experience?
To make it feel good to use.
Yeah,
For sure. Welcome back to our deep dive all about Flutter drawers.
I'm ready for more.
All right.
In part 1, we covered the basics,
Yeah.
like understanding that structure.
Mhm.
We explored a bit of customization.
Yep.
And we even talked about menus that change based on who the user is.
Yeah. Dynamic drawers.
Yeah.
Right?
So I'm ready to see how we can actually put all that knowledge into practice.
Okay, so let's get back to that idea of tailoring the drawer
Okay.
based on different user roles.
Mhm.
Remember we talked about admins
Yes.
and regular users.
Right. So let's say our app actually has 3 different user roles.
Okay.
Admin, editor, and viewer.
Right.
Each of those roles should have access to different features and options in the drawer.
Okay, makes sense.
So how would we implement that using Provider?
So our provider would handle user authentication
Okay.
and keep track of each user's role.
Yeah.
Let's say our auth provider has a variable called user role
Okay.
that stores this information.
So when a user logs in,
Yep.
Auth Provider figures out their role
Exactly.
and stores it in that user role variable.
Correct.
Gotcha. But how do we actually use that information
Right.
to control what shows up in the drawer?
That's where we can use the consumer widget
Okay.
within the build method of our drawer. We can use consumer to listen for changes to that user role variable.
So consumer is basically keeping an eye on user role.
Yeah, like it's watching it.
Okay.
And whenever it changes,
Yeah.
it tells the drawer to update itself.
I see.
So based on the value of user role,
Mm-hmm.
we can conditionally render different sets of list tile widgets.
Okay.
So let's say if user role is admin,
Okay.
we show them the admin panel and reports options.
Gotcha.
But if it's viewer,
Yeah.
those options would stay hidden.
It's like a secret menu.
Yeah, exactly.
But how does that actually look in code?
Right.
I'm always curious to see how it works in practice.
Okay, so here's a little snippet
Okay.
to show you how we can use consumer and conditional rendering.
Right.
So we'd have consumer, and inside that auth provider,
Mm-hmm.
and then the builder,
Okay.
and then context auth child.
Yeah.
Then we have our drawer,
Right.
inside that, a list view, and then our children.
All right.
And then we have our if statement. So if auth.userRole is admin,
Mm-hmm.
then we show the list tile for admin panel,
Okay.
and we do ontap,
Yeah.
navigator.pushNamed context admin.
Right. To take them to that route.
Exactly. And then we do another list tile for reports,
Good.
and again with the ontap to
Mhm.
take them to that specific route.
Gotcha.
And then we would have else if statements for the other roles.
Right. Editor
Mm.
and viewer.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then the spread operator.
Right.
To kind of make things a little neater.
Yes. To insert those blocks of code.
Okay, cool.
Makes it nice and organized.
So we're checking the value of auth.user role.
Right.
And then using those if statements
Mm-hmm.
to decide which list tile widgets to include.
Exactly.
Okay, I think I'm getting it now.
Good.
Let's shift gears a little bit.
Okay.
Let's talk about adding some visual flair.
Yeah, those smooth animations we were talking about before.
Yes.
Let's bring those to life.
Okay, I'm excited.
So let's say we want the background color of a list style to smoothly change
Yeah.
when a user hovers over it.
Oh, Okay.
We can use animated container for that.
Animated container, I remember that.
It smoothly transitions between styles.
Right, but how do we know when the user's hovering over a list tile?
So we can use a mouse region for that.
A mouse region?
Yeah.
What's that do?
It lets us know when the mouse enters or exits a specific widget.
Oh, okay. So when the mouse enters the mouse region,
Yeah,
we tell the animated container to change the color.
exactly.
And when it exits, it goes back to normal.
Yep.
So would we need to use a variable to
Yes.
track that?
We can use a Boolean variable
Okay.
to track whether the mouse is hovering or not.
I see, I see.
So it would be true if it's hovering and false if it's not.
Okay. How would that look in code?
Okay, so we would have our mouse region,
Okay.
and then on enter, we would do set state to update that is hovered variable to true.
Okay.
And then on exit, we would set it to false. And inside the mouse region,
Yeah.
we would have our animated container. And we set a duration,
Yeah.
200 milliseconds,
Uh-huh.
and the color would be based on that is hovered variable.
So it would change between two colors.
Exactly, like gray when hovering
Okay.
and white when not.
Makes sense.
And then inside the animated container, we would have our list tile.
So we have the mouse region wrapping the animated container.
Yeah.
And then we're using set state
Right.
to update that is hovered variable.
Exactly.
Right.
And the animated container is basically listening for changes to that variable.
Right. And smoothly transitioning
Yeah.
between the colors.
And that duration property, we can change that
Okay.
to make it faster or slower.
So a shorter duration would be a snappier transition,
Exactly.
but a longer one would be more subtle.
Yeah, more smooth.
I see.
It's all about preference.
Cool. We could use similar techniques
Yeah.
to animate other properties of
Of
drawers,
course.
like padding.
Padding, margin.
Oh, yeah, margin.
We can animate anything.
All sorts of cool effects.
Exactly.
But we should use animations thoughtfully, right?
Yes, definitely.
We don't want to overdo it.
They should enhance the experience, not
Right.
distract from it.
They shouldn't be annoying.
Exactly.
Speaking of cool animations,
Yeah.
what about the hero widget?
Woo, yes.
That sounds pretty epic.
It is.
Remind me how we can use it.
So imagine you have an image or an icon
Okay.
in your drawer,
Mm-hmm.
and it also appears on the screen you navigate to.
Okay, yeah.
The hero widget lets you smoothly animate that element
Oh, wow.
as you move between those two screens.
So it's like it flies from the drawer
Yeah, like a smooth transition.
to its new location.
Exactly.
That sounds awesome.
That's pretty cool.
Is it complicated to set up?
No, not at all.
Okay.
You wrap the element on
So-
both screens
Mhm.
with hero widgets,
Okay.
and you give them the same tag.
The same tag.
Yeah.
What's the tag for?
It's a unique identifier
Oops.
that links those two instances of the element.
So Flutter sees those matching tags.
Yeah.
And it knows to animate the transition.
Exactly.
Okay.
So for example, in your drawer,
Okay.
you might have a circle avatar showing profile picture,
Yeah.
and on the other screen, a larger image,
Okay.
both wrapped in hero widgets
Mhm.
with the tag profile image.
So when the user taps it in the drawer,
Yeah.
it'll fly over to the other screen.
Yes, a seamless transition.
Very cool.
It's a great way to add that extra polish.
Yeah.
It makes the app feel really nice to use.
And while we're on the topic of making things smooth,
Yeah.
we should also talk about testing.
Oh, yes. Testing is very important.
Yeah, I know it's not as fun as animation,
Yeah,
but it's crucial.
it's essential.
So what kind of testing should we do for our drawers?
So you want to make sure
Yeah.
it works well on different devices.
Right, different screen sizes.
Exactly.
Like a small phone versus a big tablet.
Yeah, you don't want it getting cut off.
Right, or overlapping other things.
Exactly.
We also need to think about edge cases, right?
Yeah, like what if
Yeah.
the content inside the drawer
Mm.
is longer than the screen height?
Oh, right.
That could be a problem.
Users would be stuck.
They wouldn't be able to see everything.
So how do we handle that?
You can use a scrollable widget,
Oh,
like
yeah.
a list view,
Mhm.
to make sure all the content is accessible.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, regardless of the screen size.
We've covered a lot in this part.
We have.
Dynamic menus,
Yep.
animations, testing.
All important stuff.
Are you feeling overwhelmed?
No, I'm not overwhelmed.
Me neither.
Good.
I'm actually feeling pretty excited.
I am too.
Seeing how we can combine all these concepts
Yeah.
to create these interactive and engaging drawers.
It's really cool.
Yeah, it's really inspiring.
Yeah.
I'm ready for the final part of our deep dive.
Okay.
What have we got in store?
In the final part, we're going to take inspiration from the pros.
Ooh.
We'll look at real-world examples of drawers in popular apps
Oh, cool.
and see how we can achieve similar effects.
Awesome. I'm ready. All right. Welcome back to our Flutter drawer adventure.
Yes.
We've gone from the basics
Mhm.
all the way to dynamic menus,
Right.
and even sprinkled in some animation magic.
It's been quite a journey.
Now I'm really excited to see how the crows are using drawers,
Yeah.
like out in the wild.
In real apps.
Yeah, what apps should we check out for some inspiration?
So we'll look at some of the most popular apps out there and
Yeah.
see what makes their drawers so effective.
Awesome.
Let's start with a classic, Gmail.
Okay, yeah.
It's known for its clean and efficient drawer.
Simple but effective.
Exactly. Nothing too flashy.
Yeah, I use Gmail every day.
Yeah.
And I have to say, their drawer just works. You know,
It does.
everything is easy to find.
Yeah.
It's visually uncluttered.
Very organized.
It never gets in the way. What are some of the key design elements there?
So they use a simple white background,
Okay.
clear icons,
Mm-hmm.
straightforward text labels.
Yeah.
It's all about clarity,
Okay.
readability,
Makes sense.
making sure users can easily find what they need.
And I've noticed that Gmail's drawer isn't just a static list.
Right.
It's got some dynamic elements too, right?
Yes.
Like, remember the settings option?
Yeah.
When you tap that, it doesn't take you to another screen.
No, it expands.
Right, it expands within the drawer
Exactly.
to show more options.
They're using the expansion tile widget there,
Oh, right.
which we talked about before.
Like a drawer within a drawer.
Yes, very clever.
So it's a good way to group things together
It is.
without making the drawer too long.
Yeah, keeps it organized.
What other apps can we take inspiration from?
How about Spotify?
Okay, yeah, I use Spotify all the time.
Yeah, their drawer has a dark theme
Oh, yeah.
and bold typography.
Very different from Gmail.
Very different feel.
Yeah.
And they also include the user's profile picture.
Right at the top.
Right at the top.
So it feels
Yeah.
more personal.
Exactly. It adds a nice touch.
And they also use those subtle dividers
Yes.
to separate different sections.
Between your library and playlists?
Yeah, just like visual cues
Exactly. It breaks it up.
to guide the user's eye.
Right.
So far, we've seen examples that focus on simplicity
Yeah.
and organization.
Mm-hmm.
But are there any apps that do something a little more visually striking?
How about Netflix?
Okay, Netflix.
Their drawer uses big, high-quality images
Oh, yeah.
for each menu item.
It's very visual.
Very immersive.
Yeah, it's like each menu item is its own little movie poster.
I like that analogy.
It's like so engaging.
And it helps with recognition, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Because instead of just reading text
You can quickly identify what you need.
based on the image, so
Yeah.
it shows us
Yeah.
that we can use more than just text and icons.
Yeah, bring in some images.
Different fonts.
Yeah, different colors.
To create something unique.
I'm getting so many ideas now.
Good.
It's not just a functional element, the drawer.
No.
It's an opportunity to express our brand.
Yeah, showcase your creativity.
What about interactivity, though?
Okay.
Are there any apps that use their drawers to display dynamic content?
Like Twitter.
Okay, Twitter.
They use their drawer to show trending topics
Oh, cool.
and personalized recommendations.
So it's like pulling data from the web.
Yeah, real-time data.
So we can use Provider for that.
Exactly.
Fetch some data.
Like trending hashtags.
Yeah, or news headlines.
And display them right in the drawer.
Like having a little news feed.
Yeah, a personalized dashboard.
It's constantly changing.
Makes it more engaging,
Yeah.
more relevant.
This has been an incredible journey.
It has.
We've gone from understanding how drawers work
The foundation.
to seeing how the pros are using them.
In the real world?
I feel like I have a whole new set of tools now
Good.
to create amazing drawer experiences.
Remember, the drawer is just one piece. Combine it with other navigation elements.
Yeah, like a bottom navigation bar.
Exactly, or a tab bar.
Yeah.
To create a really smooth flow for your users.
And most importantly, we shouldn't be afraid to experiment, right?
Of course not.
Flutter gives us so much freedom
So many possibilities.
to build something truly unique.
Go forth and build great drawers.
That's a wrap on our Flutter Drawer Deep Dive.
That's it.
We hope you learned a lot
We hope you enjoyed it.
and that you feel ready to create something truly awesome.
Until next time.
Happy coding!